Good morning, Devils fans. It is July 10th, which means it is the first day of the 2023-24 season's development camp for our New Jersey Devils. But before I get more into that, I did want to discuss a domino that finally fell on the free agency front, which would be Alex DeBrincat getting traded to the Detroit Red Wings from the Ottawa Senators. So, as we all know, there was a bit of contention around DeBrincat in this fan base when we apparently had the opportunity to acquire him for our second overall pick and then some in a trade with Ottawa at the draft. But clearly and obviously, it was a good move that we did not do this. I think at this point, we all would definitely prefer Nemec, who we have now, compared to the downturn season that DeBrincat brought and the extension he's looking for, and you couple that with the fact that we were then instead able to bring in Timo Meier, and I think this was a win-win-win across the board for the Devils, and another big feather in the cap for Tom Fitzgerald, who received a lot of flack from Devils fans for not pushing all the chips in on getting DeBrincat. This is another lesson learned yet again for a portion of the fan base that needs to have patience around some of these things and understand that just because a guy is out there and available doesn't mean you have to go all in every single time to get them, but instead to pick and choose the guys you go after for the right prices, because if you overpay for one guy, you may not get another one on the cheap. As in, you give up second overall for DeBrincat, you're not getting Timo Meier for Mukhamadullin. And please try and keep this in mind going forward for more moves that we make, as this lesson seems to have to be learned again and again by some Devils fans. But I don't want to linger too much on this, but to kind of recap the trade in its full, Red Wings receive Alex DeBrincat straight up. Ottawa Senators receive Dominik Kubalik, decent roster player. Donovan Sabrango, basically a depth AHL type player, most likely never is going to play above that. A conditional first, condition basically being a pick between the Boston first round pick that Ottawa has and the Senators first round pick, basically just based on if it's top 10 or not and then what year it might swap to. Don't have to get too much into the weeds on that. And then also a 2024 fourth round pick of Detroit's. So considering what Ottawa gave up in 7th overall, a second rounder, and a third rounder, I believe it was, to get DeBrincat in the first place, and then this return to get rid of him after only a single downturn season, it's not the best asset management from Ottawa. And we do discuss this a lot further and deeper on the Devil's Advocates podcast, which the episode did already come out today. You can find that on all your streaming platforms, as well as our YouTube channel here for the video. Hopefully now with DeBrincat going, Tarasenko can find his home. We've heard rumors of Ottawa, so possibly what the holdup was there was just getting DeBrincat out first. And now with that happening, we hopefully see the rest of the league start really making these moves, because there's a lot of guys still out there that 100% will be on NHL rosters next season and need to find those homes. So let's go ahead and move back over to development camp. We have yet to receive a roster, which is a bit odd, but I think it's going to be mostly a lot of the same names that we saw last year. Just for a bit of a recap, last year there were 18 forwards, most of which are just our AHL younger guys. 12 defensemen were invited, and then 6 goaltenders. I'm not going to be able to guess all of the non-Utica rostered guys that we are going to see here, but it is probably a decent bet that at least some of them will be returning. To kind of recap who our AHL guys are that most likely will be there, we got Brian Holonen, we've got Alexander Holtz, who we are hoping has a big week at this development camp. Hopefully springboards him into training camp where he thoroughly earns that roster spot on the third, or at least into the top 9 with us, and cements himself no longer as a prospect, but a full-time fledged NHL guy. Beyond that, we're probably very likely to see Josh Philman, Nolan Foote, kind of same for Nolan here as Holtz. He has maybe a slightly longer runway, but The fact that he is not waivers exempt anymore makes me think this is the make or break season for him, even more than Holtz. I know a lot of people think Holtz is make or break, but the fact that he's waiver exempt, meaning he can just go back down to the minors with no issues, means he still has a little runway here where Foote does not. He needs to make this roster, or he possibly finds himself somewhere else, because I doubt he would make it through waivers without being claimed. We probably are likely to see Chase Stillman, very contentious among our fan base. Again, I think he is a long-term project. We're probably not looking at him until he is in that age like 24 season, if not further. More than likely going to be a depth guy, but hey, you need those ELC depth guys to come in, as I have previously discussed. Graham Clark will obviously make an appearance there. Big one for him as well, but same as Holtz, he is waiver exempt, so he has a bit of runway still to make this team down the road. Beyond that, we probably will see Shane Bowers and Tice Thompson, both of whom are also not waiver exempt. So these are guys that need to force their way onto a roster or risk getting moved to another organization. On defense, we will see Simone Nemec, big time for him. The big question mark I've been seeing around the Devils fan base will be, is Luke going to attend? I personally think he will. Does he need to? Probably not. I think he's very safely penned in on the roster. But when you are management, this is one of those guys where he does not get the special treatment. Yes, he made the appearance at the end of the season and into playoffs, so maybe that does change things. I don't know if Makar, who did something similar, he came in with the Avalanche after his college run, made an appearance in the playoffs. I don't know if he went to their development camp that following season or not. That may also be an indicator if Luke shows up. But I think it'd be nice for him just kind of get acclimated into the organization a bit further, be with amongst his peers of his same age group. And I mean, a few of these guys he will be playing with on the main roster. So form those bonds now, especially just because, it's good team building practice to do so. And also, again, shows he is not, on this pedestal in this organization, at least not yet. Furthermore, on defense, we're likely to see Daniel Masul, Santeri Hataka, Michael Vikojevic, and Topias Villain. For beyond that, we're likely to see probably some of the guys we just drafted. I don't know if we'll see all of them, but at least a few are very likely to make their way to this development camp, if not all. Goalie-wise, we're not going to see Nico Dawes. He is injured, unless he's maybe just there in person. We are very unlikely to see him on the ice. But we will see Tyler Brennan there as well, someone who was with us there the last season. A couple names that stuck out to me that were there last year that we may see for this camp that I did not already list is possibly the likes of like Jaromir Pitlick. We might see maybe Brody Crane, Nikola Pasic, not too sure. Samo Salminen, or Xavier Parent. These are guys that were there last season and are making strides, so I could definitely see them coming in. We all would obviously love to see Liam Devlin, purely, if not just for the name. He actually had a really good camp last year, and I think it'd be good to see him again. On defense, I would love to see Philip Bratt back, if not just for the wholesomeness with Jesper, especially after Jesper just signed his long-term deal. Beyond that, I don't know, other than maybe Case McCarthy, or Seamus Casey, if anybody else is making it. Seamus Casey seems like a fairly safe bet, but we'll see if any of those other names make an appearance. Goalie-wise, I think Schmidt at this point has likely played himself out of this. If we did acquire another goalie, I could see him being here, or just for that fact that maybe we still will, he will be here as well. Again, I don't think there's anyone that is above being here. So if he's there, I don't think it's any indication one way or the other. It's just, hey, he is still in that age bracket, still an RFA. And really, to me, is if you are still on an RFA contract and have not been a full-time NHL roster guy, you're pretty much still a prospect, even if you've had NHL time. For other goalie names that we had last year, there is Cole Brady, Isaac Poulter, and Jacob Malik. Possibly see some of these guys return as well, and I'm sure we'll absolutely see a few other new names. To give you an idea what the rest of the week will look like, tomorrow's going to be another in-house day with no season ticket members, same as today. We will have media availabilities, I'm sure, So we will see stuff trickling in throughout the day from the likes of our reporters. Wednesday is going to be the first day where we will have fans, season ticket members at the event. I know we are going to have one of our correspondents, Stan, showing up there, trying to take some video, give some feedback on the event for everybody, as well as Brad Pack's going to make both days, which is Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday, July 12th, is going to feature the 3-on-3 competition, which starts at 5:30, and then an autograph session to follow. Always great for the fans to get out there, especially the in-person autograph session with these guys is always great. And I also think it shows, the ability to show a lot of the skills that these guys have developed here on the 3-on-3. Friday, the last day, is the big red versus white scrimmage, which starts at 10 a.m. This is going to be live streamed on the Devils official website, so we'll definitely be tuning in for that, and I will have tons of comments the morning after to follow. That's going to be the big one where we'll really see, does Holt set himself apart from everyone else? Except for Nemec for sure should also be setting himself apart. And if guys like Luke are there, Luke probably runs this tournament if he is there. So that's really the basic coverage, as we do not have an official roster and no other news has really come out from this. But I cannot wait to watch as it continues to develop at this development camp. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I can't wait for this new content for this new season to really kick off here. I'm excited. Hope all of you are as well. I'll see you all tomorrow morning and have a great rest of your day.